Hello, dear friends. You're welcome to Wednesday. This is the Kristocentric station on the Kingdom Finance series. Every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m., we looked at Kingdom Finance from the perspective of the Bible. What has the Bible got to say about money? What has the Bible got to say about business? Or what are the practical nuggets that Christian entrepreneurs and professionals and generally business people can glean from the various passages of the scriptures, from the Old Testament and the New Testament, that they can apply to their current modern business? So whether you are operating in the area of business, that is banking or insurance or retail, or hospitality or education, or a parachurch organization, or even a ministry that you may be running, there are practical nuggets of wisdom that you can glean from this series and apply to your life and ministry. So July, we've been looking at a very important topic, the financial lessons from the parable of the rich fool. And it's been a very great eye-opening segment on this particular story, which is captured in the Bible in Luke chapter 12 from verse 13 to 21. It's basically a story about a parable about a rich man, an agribusiness entrepreneur who one day was able to get a very bumper harvest than he had expected. And Jesus, according to the parable, the man decided to break down the old barns and build bigger barns, of course, bigger warehouse, so he can accommodate the great bumper harvest. And then also he put in other measures and plans to ensure that his business become more sustainable in the long term. So you're looking at 20 years, 30 years. And then in the process, he told himself, so he made a statement that most of us would do if we're in his shoes, that looking at what I've been able to gather and put together, I'm sure in the many years ahead of me, I am fine. I'm okay. I mean, I don't need to worry myself over money and food and all that. My investment are enough and they can take care of me. And then God comes to the scene and says that, you fool, all the things you've gathered, if you die today, who is going to take all those things and to enjoy? Now, why was the rich man, the agribusiness entrepreneur, reprimanded by God? He was reprimanded not because he was a bad planner or a bad business person, but because he didn't include God in his planning. And if you look at this particular parable about the parable of the rich fool, even as the name suggests, we have lambasted the rich fool for not including God in his plans. But beyond he not including God in his plan, there are very vital lessons that we can learn from him. And that is why we are doing this in the month of July, looking at the practical lessons that we can learn from him. Our last episode, we looked at the dangers of covetousness. And that was from Luke chapter 12. We looked at it from verse 13 to 15, when Jesus was preaching and somebody came in and said, Jesus, help me, I betrayed between me and my brother to share the family property that our dead as a father or parent had left behind. And Jesus said, no, I am not a lawyer. That is not the work I do. Allow me to focus on my preaching. Then Jesus went ahead to make a very important statement in Luke chapter 12 verse 15, when he said that the abundance of things that you acquire in life is not what determines your value. In other words, Jesus was saying that driving a Range Rover is not what makes you a proper or a more valuable human being. Your value is not in the Range Rover. Your value is not in the Honda you're driving. Your value is not in that Mitsubishi car or whatever it is. Your value is in the fact that you are created in the image of God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139 verse 13 and 14. And we also learned that sometimes when you become very prosperous and excessively financially successful, there is a temptation to think that certain things are not important. So fasting is not important, prayer is not important. Some even think that going to church is a waste of time, and they go to church after the pastor has preached for 30 minutes, they start looking at their tie, they are so G3, because like Charlie, now they are high class, they don't have time for all these things of let's come and do praise and worship and let's pray and all that. Many of them don't even do morning devotion in their houses because they see all those things as a cake, because now Charlie, they've gotten more cash, more money, more influence, more fame. And that is a danger that the Bible warns us against. So what are we doing today? The secret of wealth. The secret of wealth. That's the focus. We are taking it verse by verse. So last week we did verse 13 to 15. Today we are doing verse 16. Only verse 16. Luke chapter 12, verse 16. Then he spoke a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. The ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. I've said it over and over again that the words of Jesus that are usually read in the Bible, we don't read them like we're in a rush, No. We take our time, we study it, we analyze it, we critique it, we ask questions, we sleep on the word. The words of Jesus, we don't rush it to. So let's take it carefully. Jesus spoke a parable. He says that the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. There are some 3 words I want us to take notice of in this verse. The first one is the ground. So if the Bible is yours, underline. If it's a rented Bible, you can underline it. The ground. Number 2, rich man. Rich man. Number 3, plentifully. Plentifully. Why did Jesus say the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully, but not the ground of a certain lazy man yielded plentifully? Jesus is actually telling us that if you are lazy, you can't get bumper harvest. If you are laid back, you can't get bumper harvest. If you usually get tired working, you can't get bumper harvest. Success and prosperity is not for people who are laid back. It's not meant for people who work a little and they are tired and frustrated. No. So the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully because there is a connection between plentiful harvest, bumper harvest, success, wealth and prosperity, and attitude to work. The most successful people are the ones who work hard. They are diligent. People have their reservations and they will make argument. They say that I've been working and doing this and all that. I'm not seeing any results. Sometimes when you go, you investigate further, you realize that they are working hard, but they are not working well. That if there's a difference between spending 4 hours doing a work and producing a certain kind of result, and another person just using 2 hours out of your 4 hours to do the same work and getting better result than you. So it's not just about working, it's the quality of the work that you are producing. So I've explained number 1, the rich man. Number 2, plentiful harvest. Number 3 is the ground. Why did the Bible say the ground of a certain rich man? Because everybody has a ground, and your attitude towards your ground determines the results that you produce in life. This agribusiness entrepreneur knew that space of land, that territory, is what he owns. And if he pays attention and cultivates it very well, his life will become better, his business will become better, his career will become better. Now, in order not to waste your time, your ground is your current career, where you are working. That is the ground God has given you. Your ground is that talent, that voice that God has given you. Your ground is that physical beauty that God has given you. Your ground is that ability to cook, that ability to bake, that ability to write. That is what God has given you. What you do with your ground determines the result you produce in life. Your relevance in life is determined by what you do with the ground that God has given you. The rich man in this parable, the Bible says he cultivated his ground. Genesis 1, 26 to 28, what are we supposed to do? We are told in the Bible to dominate. If you read Genesis chapter 2, the Bible says that there was no man. God created, he created everything, but there was no man to till the land. So he created a man to till the land. Every one of us, we are responsible for tilling our land. God has given you a ministry. If you focus on that ministry, the ministry will grow and become successful. But if you keep on, you abandon the ministry, you jump all over the place. You have a ministry in Ghana, you go and spend several months outside Ghana, in UK, US, other places, enjoying yourself. You're not paying attention to raise quality leaders to take over the ministry. Nobody runs a ministry like that and succeeds. You need to pay attention to your ground. Pay attention to it. Whatever God has given you, your relevance and success in life is linked to that. So the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. How is your ground yielding? What kind of fruit is your ground yielding? What kind of result are you getting from your ground? And it has nothing to do with the ground God has given you. Because people are footballers, they become financially successful. There are other footballers who have made a mess of their potential to play football. So it's not about the gift. Through baking or bread, people have become millionaires. There are people who have worked in the bank for 20 years. They are still struggling, living from hand to mouth. So it's about what God has given you. All the people who are teaching, they don't end up at the same level. People have taught in schools for years. And by teaching, they made so much money out of teaching. Others have been teaching for years. There is nothing to show about it. It all depends on what you do with the ground that God has given you. Anyway, let me end this conversation briefly with some practical kingdom principles for wealth and prosperity. Kingdom principles for wealth and prosperity. And we are getting all of them from Luke chapter 12, verse 16. The ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. Number 1, the principle of diligence. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 4. The hand of the diligent makes rich. The hand of the diligent makes rich. But the lazy man's hand causes poverty. And I always say that, you see, sometimes the way we read the Bible and the way we interpret it has a direct impact on our lives. The Bible is saying the hand of the diligent makes rich. Which means that if you work hard, you will prosper. If you are working hard and you are not prospering, it is your duty to interrogate. Investigate why you are working hard and you are not prospering. You must search. How do you search? Read the Bible. Look for the answers. Read books on finance and business and success. Look for the answers. Talk to your pastor. Ask questions. If you need to go for deliverance, do it. If you don't do this, you may think that what the Bible is saying is false. But the Bible cannot lie. The hand of the diligent makes rich, but the lazy man's hand causes poverty. The lazy man's hand, it causes poverty. Nations that are rich, they work hard. Countries that are rich, they work hard. Countries that are always borrowing and begging, they are lazy. Countries that like going to the IMF with a cup in hand, they are very lazy. There is no explanation and justification for it. You've been working for years, you don't have any money saved anywhere. You are always living from hand to mouth, and you have all kinds of excuses to justify it. It is wrong. The hand of the diligent, it makes rich. The principle of diligence. And what is diligence? Diligence is doing the work and doing it with detailed attention, exceptionally well. That is diligence. If you are asked to go and mop, let me say you are asked to go and clean a room. So you go there, you sweep, you clean the floor. Everywhere is looking very neat. That is fine. You have done well. I come into the room and I look up and I realize that there are cobwebs up there. Did you clean the room? Yes. Did you clean everywhere? Yes. But there are cobwebs up there. So because I didn't mention that, go and mop the floor and clean the cobwebs, you clean the floor, you clean everywhere, and you left the cobwebs hanging there. You've done a lazy work. You are not diligent. When you work and you don't work with attention, detailed attention, it is not diligence. So, and it's one of the reasons why people struggle in their career and their life. People love to do things anyhow. There is no detailed attention to it, and they are not ready to pay the price to do things exceptionally well. Principle of diligence will guarantee wealth and prosperity. Every boss likes a subordinate who works with diligence, detailed attention. Number 2, the principle of consistency. I love this one. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 verse 6. In the morning sow your seed, and in the evening do not withhold your hand, for you don't know which of them will prosper. In the morning sow. In the morning sow. In the afternoon sow. In the evening sow. We live in a very interesting generation today. Edwin, I hear a lot of young people into various kinds of relationships, and they'll be complaining, Nelson, Charlie, I've seen this red flag in the girl I'm dating. I've seen this red flag in the boy I'm dating. When I do this one, she doesn't do this. When I do that one, she doesn't do this, all kinds of issues. Then they'll be counting all the red flags. Then, so people jump into a relationship, 3 months they are out. They go into another one for 3 months, they are out. Another 6 months, they are out, because they are always seeing red flags. And they will justify it why they cannot continue the relationship, because things are not working well. Our parents and grandparents stayed in relationships for years, not because the relationships were perfect, but they understood that there is work to be done. And sometimes you must focus and work on yourself. What do I mean by consistency? What I'm simply saying by consistency is that you must learn to stay on things and do it even when you don't feel like doing it. Yes. Even when you don't feel like doing it. Let me give you a very interesting or probably a weird example. So a couple will fight together and argue and sometimes insult each other and make all kinds of nasty statements. So imagine you were a woman, you had a fight with your husband and all that. And then you are the same person who has to go and cook for the husband who has just insulted you. What are you going to do that day? Are you going to say that I've just had a fight with my husband, he has insulted me, made all kinds of derogatory statements against me, so that day I will not cook? If you do that, you are not consistent. Or that day I'm not going to give in to sex because I don't like the way my husband treated me. That is inconsistency. For you to produce results in life, you must be consistent. I come on every Wednesday here on this program. There are days I just feel like I'll just be lying on my bed and be sleeping, so that Edwin will not call me to come for Kristocentric to the Kristocentric station for Wednesday program. But I have to discipline myself and come to the studio. There are days you wake up, you don't feel like, if you talk to every pastor, they will tell you the truth. There is no pastor who wakes up every Sunday morning and is eager, always ready to go and preach. There are days, some of the pastors feel they'll go and sit down for others to preach, and they will just be listening. There is nothing easy anywhere in this life. There is nothing easy. So you can't work for 3 months, you are tired. You work for 6 months, you are tired. You do something a little, and people get too tired too often. Jesus wasn't like that. I might work the works of him who has sent me, because a time is coming when no man can work. Be consistent. How do you go and register at the gym? First 3 days, you take pictures and videos, put it on Instagram and Facebook on your status. Then the following week, you are nowhere to be found. So who are you deceiving? You go to the gym. Why are you not going to the gym again? You said this year you are going to be very careful about your eating and your dieting and all that. You start 3 days, 1 week, then you stop. Consistency produces result. The rich man's land yielded plentiful harvest because he was consistent. Number 3, the principle of stewardship. Matthew 25 verse 21. Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Luke 16 is in verse 10. He that is faithful in little, faithful in much. Stewardship. What is stewardship? Taking care of something as if it doesn't belong to you, it belongs to another person. And taking care of it very well. If you do that, you will excel. Is in Proverbs 28 verse 20, a faithful man will be blessed. Faithfulness leads to blessing. It is not a curse to serve other people, whether they are older than you or younger than you. Somebody has a business, they've called you to come and work. Serve well, so that one day God will also give you faithful people to work for you. Everybody you work for, you have to steal and cheat. That is wrong. And you go to church and give all kinds of testimonies. No, be faithful. People may even steal from you or probably sometimes cheat you. Don't worry. Stay faithful. God will reward you. Principle number 4, the principle of planning. The principle of planning. Proverbs 21 verse 5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty, but those of everyone who is hasty surely come to poverty. When your planning is good, a lot of things in your life will change. In fact, one of the things that has changed my life is planning. I wake up every day with an agenda on what to do from morning to evening. I never leave anything to chance. And I've realized over years, more than 20 years plus, that is the secret of success in life. Planning. No matter how much salary you are taking, no matter how much money you are making, if your planning is bad, you will always be broke. This is going here, this is going there, this is going there, this is going there. I won't buy this, I'll buy clothes every 3 months, I'll buy shoes every... If you don't plan, you won't do well. Life will be very tough for you. The rich man, he succeeded in agribusiness because his planning was good. Number 5, focus. And I think I'm going to end there. Focus. Focus. John 9 verse 4. I must work the works of him who has sent me while it is day. That was a statement of Jesus. Jesus was focused on his ministry on earth. As if he knew he had only 3 years to do ministry. He was focused. Paul said, Philippians chapter 3, this one thing I do. I've said it over and over again. That habit of jumping from things to things, it doesn't guarantee success. Success comes when you focus and do something over the long term. And you must be willing to do things without getting results. I mean, who says that because we are Christians and anointed and favored, when we start something today to prosper? It doesn't work like that. Psalm 1 verse 3, the righteous will be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, and whatever he does shall prosper. The Bible didn't say that it will prosper instantly. Some of the prosperity can take 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 5 years, 3 years. You must wait. You must wait. Focus. And maybe patience. Focus and patience. Focus, patience, focus, patience, focus. Stay there. You do it over and over again. Every day you show up. Every day you go to the studio. Every day you go to work. Every day you go to church. The result will not come today. The result will come tomorrow. Anyway, let me end it here. I've just shared about 5 core principles that guarantees wealth. Number 1, principle of diligence. Number 2, the principle of consistency. Number 3, the principle of stewardship. Number 4, the principle of planning. And number 5, the principle of focus and patience. Over to you, Edwin.
You just said so many. You made so many profound points. With the point about not doing too many things, because it doesn't determine success. What if someone has so many ideas that they want to implement? How do they choose which one to start first? And how long should a person focus on that idea before touching on the others?
Okay, so first of all, let me establish the ground that we are believers, we are Christians.
Yes.
God will always lead us. Sometimes I can work in the company for years and God will let you know that it's time to move on. Or probably you are working in a company and God wants you to stop what you're doing and focus on your own business. God will always lead you. But the point is that, you see, result comes from focus. I mean, this is applicable in physics. Yes, this is applicable in physics. Anybody who has studied physics before, you understand what I mean by focus. When you focus the sun rays on an object for some time, it generates heat because it gathers heat, and sometimes the thing can even burn. I mean, the experiment we do in school, you see some of these results.
Yeah.
You must pick one thing and focus on it and grow it. Then you go on to others. That's the way it works. So I am into writing, publishing, speaking. I have spent majority of my time when I started life speaking. Yes, even as a young man from senior high school and all that. Then later on, I started writing. When I started writing, I focused on the writing and I did less speaking. So that gave me enough time to grow and to grow my writing career, and even create a business out of it, which is publishing. And now I am back, I still do the speaking. So you see, at every stage of your life, your time is demanded to be focused on a particular thing so that you can get results. Edwin, if you don't focus, you can't get results. And most of us who try to do a lot of things at the same time, we don't have the capacity to manage multiple projects. I mean, you agree with me. There is a certain level you can get to where you can handle 10 things and you can manage all well. The average young person cannot handle multiple projects at the same time and excel at it. So your capacity will even tell you that you must focus on what you are doing. Already, you see, one of the reasons that you need to, one of the reasons for focus is that sometimes when you realize that you are struggling with something, most people easily make the case that it's because what I'm doing is not the right thing, that's why I'm struggling. But sometimes when you go deeper, you realize that it's an issue of focus. So God has given you a ministry, you're running the ministry, but you're not focused on growing the ministry. You are just jumping and you're all over the place. It looks like you are working, but the reality is that you're not really working. Or you don't even understand what it takes to succeed in what you are doing. So let me say you're into farming. You started a farm, and then you started having challenges. Then you conclude, farming is not good. But the thing is that you have not really studied what it takes to succeed in this type of farming you're doing. You see, so when you focus and you ask yourself all the hard questions, you get the answers to succeed. After you have succeeded, then you now pick the other things and start doing it. There's a level you can get to where you can pick 3 things and do them concurrently, and you succeed in all of them. So it's an issue of capacity. All the people who have conglomerate and multiple ministries and things today, they didn't start it like that. They started by first concentrating on one branch, growing the headquarters. Then later on, they'll start sending pastors to the various branches. You can't just start a church today with 10 branches. It will not work. It hasn't worked. It's not a proven principle.
Now, with the point of consistency,
yes,
I want to find out, does a person's personality play a role in how consistent a person can be?
Yeah, it does. It does, because some people by their nature, they like jumping from things to things. Like especially sanguine, who are always happy and excited. They just cannot focus on one thing. Cholerics are very good when it comes to, and sometimes melancholics, when it comes to focusing on things and getting it done. But some other people who are always very happy and always They like to jump from place to place. So personality does. But the trick is that, especially with the context of marriage, when you have somebody who has a balance of the other opposite, it helps you to be able to focus. When you are also aware of your personality, it also helps you. So you know you are the kind of jumping and exciting type. You can focus on things and do them well. So you read more, learn more about personality, and then learn how you can overcome that weakness. So that can help you to stay on track and do it. So yes, personality really, really goes a long way to affect how people are consistent.
Now, when it comes to this particular question, some people say that they've been working diligently, on their ground, but they are seeing no fruit. Yeah. Then they leave and go to another ground and they see fruit. Is that an instance whereby it's not the person's inability to be diligent, but rather the current ground they are working on that is not causing?
That's exactly what I wanted to say. So there's two things. Number one, Edwin, we cannot run away from the fact that most of us at various stages of our lives have taken certain grounds that we thought was ours, which wasn't. Yes, I've done a lot of things in the past. Sometimes I look back and say, how did I waste my time doing all those things? Because actually, this thing there is not my line, cry. I'm just wasting my time in my life. It has happened to all of us. So it is true. Number one, the ground on which you are on is not yours. And that is what God will tell you to move. Abraham, carry your things, move. This place you are not supposed to be here. Then you go to Genesis 20, it says God will also tell Isaac, the fact that you're having challenges here, there's family, doesn't mean that this is not your ground. This is your ground. Stay here in Gerar. Plant. Sow. And the Bible said the guy sow. And he raped. That's why I started by saying that it all depends on how God is leading you. Number one, it could be that that is not your ground. Number two, it could also be that that is your ground, but you don't understand the rules of engagement. What to do to be able to succeed. I was watching the match between France and Spain yesterday, and I was so much disappointed in Spain, in France, because I watched the match for 15 minutes and I left the place because I told myself the way France came into the game and they're playing, there is no way that they can win. You see? So you must have a master plan and a game plan that you know that it will work for you based on this farming, based on this media work, based on this ministry work. If you don't understand it, you can be at the right place, but you'll be messing up. So the rules of engagement, the industry secret, that's the right word I should use. The industry secret. This thing I'm doing, the top best people in the world, what have they done to be able to do it well? When you have the answers, you will succeed. By the end of the day, God will lead you. Whether it's the ground that is the problem or you are the one who is the problem, I'm sure that God will tell you.
That's amazing. So before we, drop the curtains on today's episode, is there any final word you want to say to your viewers right now?
Yeah, so my viewers, Luke chapter 12, verse 16, the Bible says the ground of a certain rich man yielded plentifully. So my focus, as I summarize this, but bring this to an end, is the word ground. Have you discovered your ground? It is possible the ground on which you are belongs to another man. It's also possible the ground on which you are, you don't even understand what to make out of that ground.
Yeah.
I want you to go to God in prayer and ask God whether you're on the right ground. Number two, I want you to go into serious research about what it takes to succeed on that ground God has given you, whether it's ministry, business, finance, whatever area God has given you. God bless you.
God bless you. And I want to say a big thank you to the financial evangelist for taking time out to come and host this show. You're welcome again to the Kingdom Finance series right here on Kristocentric Station. And you just heard from the financial evangelist, and he has been talking about the financial lessons from the parable of the rich fool. One thing I'm definitely going to walk away with is what you do with your ground is what you get from it. You have to be diligent. You don't have to be jumping from place to place. And you have to let the Lord lead you to your ground. Maybe where you're working is not your ground. Maybe it is, but you've not done the research about the rules of engagement. Maybe you're not doing enough to get the fruits that you want. So in every single thing, let the Lord lead you to where your ground is and how to work on your said ground. So that brings us to the end of today's episode of the Kingdom Finance series right here on Kristocentric Station. You can watch all the episodes on the Kristocentric Station YouTube channel from episode 1 to this current episode. Stay safe, God bless, do not change your dial. You're live on the Kristocentric Station.